let's talk about a reality that's uncomfortable but necessary. The Los Angeles Chargers could underachieve in 2025. With all the hype around Jim Harbaugh, a healthy Justin Herbert, and a fresh coaching staff, it's easy to get swept up in optimism. But if you really study this team, from the trenches to the secondary, the scheme to the schedule, there are cracks that could widen fast. And if they do, this thing could unravel in a way no one wants to admit right now. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. Now, first and for the record, I don't think the Chargers are going to be bad. I'm not predicting a collapse. I'm just saying if they do fall short of expectations, here's what it might look like. Let's start with the defensive front, because this one's staring us right in the face. The interior pass rush. It's just not proven. Not yet. Last year, Morgan Fox and Poona Ford were two of the most reliable interior guys when it came to getting pressure. And now, they're both gone. That production's got to be replaced somehow. You look at what's left. Tier Tart, Otito Ogbanya, and some new guys like Deshaun Hand and Jamari Caldwell. And yeah, there's some potential there. Tart was efficient on a per-snap basis. Caldwell's a bit of an unknown, but flashes traits. Still, none of these guys are proven disruptors, and I get it. Jesse Minter doesn't necessarily need a game-wrecking interior rusher for his scheme to work. His system is more about controlled aggression, setting picks, pushing the pocket, letting linebackers and DBs loop around. But man, when you go up against the Chiefs or Eagles or Texans, it helps to have someone who can collapse the middle on his own. Right now, that guy's not obvious. And that leads us to a bigger point. The Chargers can't afford to have anything less than a rock-solid pass rush in 2025. Khalil Mack is still reliable, and I think Tuli Tuipulotu has a good shot at taking that next step. But what if Mack starts to decline a little? What if Tuli doesn't level up the way people hope? Then suddenly you're asking guys like Hand to carry more than they're built for. And against the offenses this team has to play, that's risky. We're talking about a schedule loaded with elite weapons: Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Brock Bowers, Mike Evans, Travis Kelce, and that's just the top layer. The depth of skill talent they'll face this year is absolutely brutal. And here's the part that might sting. It's not just the defensive line. There's a very real possibility this entire defense takes a small step back. Let me explain. Last year, Minter had this unit overperforming. He squeezed every ounce of production out of a group that, frankly, wasn't stacked with blue-chip guys. 5th in total defensive EPA. 7th in third down success rate. That's elite. But it came with a cost. In the fourth quarter, they dropped to 25th in EPA, 28th in success rate. That's a red flag. Now, maybe that evens out. Maybe they tighten up late. But the flip side is just as likely. Maybe that early down dominance regresses. Maybe they come back to the middle a bit, especially when you factor in how much tougher the schedule is. It's a lot to ask of guys like Cam Hart, Tarheeb Still, Junior Colson, and Justin Eboigbe to all take a leap forward in the same year. Could it happen? Sure. But if even two of those guys stall, the defense could slip out of the top 10 quick. And again, not blaming Minter. If anything, he's earned our trust. But year 2 is different. You're not sneaking up on anyone. Teams have tape. They know what you're doing now. They'll adjust. And with the kind of talent they're going up against, you've got to be airtight in your execution. All right, let's flip to the other side of the ball, the offense. I'll just say it. I still don't know what the ceiling is with Greg Roman running this show. Look, I get the vision. Pound the rock. Control the line of scrimmage. Protect Justin Herbert. And I actually think the run game will be better. Probably significantly better. With Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton and an upgraded interior led by Mekhi Becton. But when it comes to the passing game, I still have major doubts. Last year, the Chargers were 27th in rushing success rate, but even worse, they were 27th on third downs. That's the money down. That's where games are won and lost. And that's where Roman's offenses have consistently struggled. It's not a new thing. Now, yes, Herbert missed time. The receiver room was banged up. Mike Williams didn't play. Quentin Johnston wasn't ready. There are caveats. But if we're being fair, those same questions still exist today. Johnston is still WR2. We don't know what kind of impact Tyler Conklin will make. Oronda Gadsden, promising but still a rookie. And unless Roman shows a new wrinkle in the passing game, something we haven't seen from him in a decade, I think it's reasonable to question whether this offense has enough firepower to win shootouts against top-tier defenses. And that's a problem because you're going to be in some shootouts. You're playing Vic Fangio, Steve Spagnuolo, DeMeco Ryans, Brian Flores, Vance Joseph, and those are just the heavy hitters. Roman's offenses have historically gotten out-schemed in games like that. These are the best of the best, and if Roman can't dial up answers late in the fourth quarter, this team's going to lose some winnable games. Which brings us to another sore spot, the interior offensive line. Yes, Becton was a nice pickup. Yes, depth is better than it was. But if he gets hurt, or even regresses a little, you're back to relying on Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman, and a bunch of guys who got flat-out beat last year. The Chargers were one of the worst pass-protecting teams in the league from the interior. That's not something you can just flip overnight. And remember, we're still trying to figure out if Zion is even in the right position. Bozeman has been inconsistent at best. Trey Pipkins, Carson Barnhart. These were all names that were either injured or ineffective last season. It's fair to say the floor is higher now, but is the ceiling? That's less clear. Now let's zoom out for a second and talk about the schedule. This thing is brutal. 9 games against teams that made the playoffs last year. 8 games against teams projected to win more than 8.5 games. A Week 12 bye. And the last stretch of the season, that's hell. You've got Philadelphia, Kansas City, Dallas, Houston, and Denver, back to back to back. If this team needs to go 4-1 in that stretch to get into the playoffs, I don't feel great about it. Add in the fact that they're traveling more miles than any other team in the league, including a trip to Brazil. And this is easily one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. Now, look, I'm not here to be negative for the sake of being negative. Like I said at the top, I don't love these kinds of videos, but I do think we owe it to ourselves and to the team to talk honestly about what might go wrong. Because pretending everything's perfect doesn't help anybody. Here's the truth. I still think the Chargers will be good. I still think Herbert can carry this team to the playoffs. I still think Harbaugh is the right guy to change the culture. But none of that guarantees success. They're going to need breakout years from young defenders. They're going to need Roman to prove he can adapt. They're going to need this offensive line to stay healthy. And they're going to need to win at least 1 or 2 of these heavyweight matchups, because last year they didn't. And that, right there, might be the difference between 11 wins and a playoff run, or 8 wins and another offseason of what happened. We'll see. But right now, there's more work to do than people want to admit. So now I'll throw it to you. Do you trust Greg Roman to elevate the passing game when it matters most? And more importantly, which unit worries you more heading into 2025? The interior defensive line or the interior offensive line? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading every single one.